Right now at 6, breaking news. Mayor Lori Lightfoot will announce the new CEO of Chicago Public Schools this morning. We'll tell you what we know about him.
Then ditching the disposables, what a new city council rule could mean for your next takeout order.
And a cooler, sunny start to the day, but how long before the heat comes back? Alicia's got all the details in her forecast. The news at 6 starts right now.
And good morning to you. Thanks for being with us. I'm Michelle Relaford.
And I'm Chris Hush. We want to start with breaking news this morning. The new CEO of Chicago Public Schools has been chosen.
That's right. NBC5's Lisa Chavarria live for us this morning with the confirmation we just received moments ago. Lisa?
Well, Michelle and Chris, I just got off the phone a couple of minutes ago with Alderman Gilbert Villegas. He is the chairman of the City Council's Latino Caucus. And in this conversation, he said that he was made aware last night that Pedro Martinez is expected to be named the new Chicago Public Schools CEO. And he says that he feels as though this is a step in the right direction, as Pedro Martinez would be the first Latino to hold that position, to be the leader of CPS schools. So let's talk a little bit more about him. And you know what, I should also mention that at this point, the mayor's office has not officially confirmed this hiring. But Martinez, he has been the superintendent of the San Antonio Independent School District. He has been in that role since 2015. Before that, he was the superintendent in residence for the Nevada Department of Education. And before that, he was here with Chicago Public Schools as the chief financial officer under Arne Duncan, the former U.S. Secretary of Education. Now, according to CPS data from the last school year, Latinos make up more than 46% of the student population. Martinez, he immigrated to the U.S. with his family from Mexico. He graduated from Benito Juarez High School. Last month, the Chicago Sun-Times said that Martinez was emerging as the front runner to lead the third largest school district in the country. Now, Jose Torres, he has been serving as the interim CEO since Dr. Janice Jackson left the position. Now, speaking of Dr. Jackson, the mayor tweeted this out yesterday after honoring her with a resolution saying, quote, "Even though it's been months since she resigned as CEO of CPS, I believe I speak for nearly all of us when I say how sad we still are to see her go. She may be moving on, but the initiatives she and her team put in place will benefit our city for years to come." Now, the only information that we have from the mayor's office is that she is set to speak to the media here at Benito Juarez High School with CPS leadership. But the circulation, all the reports that have been circulating that she could be announcing that new CPS CEO, and now we have learned, according to our sources, that that CEO is expected to be Pedro Martinez. Reporting live here in Pilsen, Lisa Chavarria, NBC5 News.
And that is a very solid source. Great work out there, Lisa. Thank you very much for your reporting this morning. And make sure you download the NBC Chicago app and turn on your push alerts. That way you will get a notification right to your phone as Mayor Lightfoot officially makes that announcement this morning. All right, we're going to turn now to our forecast, Alicia. A little bit cooler out there.
Yeah, cooler temperatures this morning than where we were yesterday morning, and we do have some sunshine, some high clouds as well. So mostly clear skies out there this morning. 60 degrees is the current temperature. That's at O'Hare, but notice back across the Fox Valley, you're at 51 right now in Aurora, a little cooler there, 56 in Morris, 60 in Valparaiso, and at 58 degrees right now in Waukegan. We are a lot cooler this morning than where we were yesterday morning. Yesterday, we were in the mid-70s. This morning, low 50s to mid-60s. Take a look at Aurora. You're about 22 degrees cooler this morning than where we were yesterday morning. We had that cold front pass through. We had muggy conditions yesterday. Now the dew points are in the mid-50s to low 50s, so it's a lot cooler out there. A pretty pleasant start to the day, and we will see a seasonal afternoon. So temperatures this morning, at least through 7 o'clock, still in the mid-50s to mid-60s. Mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Not as warm today as the last couple days, but seasonal temperatures. This is our average for this time of year, mid-70s to low 80s as we head later today with plenty of sunshine. We do have a warm-up on the way. We'll talk about the hot temperatures coming up in a few moments, but now let's check in with Kai.
And Alicia, we're just getting reports there could be a new outbound Kennedy crash just before Harlem, so we'll stay on top of that for you. The inbound side of the Ryan typically slow just as you head in from 31st. The Skyway looks good. Bishop Ford nice and smooth with no major delays up from the Borman Expressway. However, this crash in Northwest Indiana at Calumet, just before the Illinois state line, is really jamming things up here. So this is going to be westbound here on 8094 or the Borman Expressway. It's in 3 right lanes. There's only 1 available. Here's Klein, and here's where that backup starts, approaching again Calumet. Let's go ahead and go back to the Illinois side and take a live look outside at a tollway camera for you. And here we are in the northwest suburbs. This is the Jane Addams Tollway near Barrington Road, and that looks quite smooth. In on the Edens, decent conditions, just 20 minutes for that reverse commute up to the northern suburbs at 20 minutes. Out on the Kennedy, 17 out to O'Hare, again with reports of a new crash right before Harlem. In on the Ike is 23. In on the Stevenson, that's 15 minutes. Outbound is really heavy from Harlem out past the 294 interchange from an earlier crash at Route 83. Chris?
Kai, thank you. We do want to get to the latest COVID numbers for Illinois and Indiana. Illinois confirms 4,600 new cases and 40 more deaths. But what's encouraging here is the state's average test positivity rate has not risen for weeks and is now below 5%. In Indiana, infections are also rising. 91 more people died, and the state's average test positivity rate rose to 11.8%. Meanwhile, Chicago has removed Connecticut and Washington, D.C. from the city's travel advisory. They are now the only regions not listed under the orange category. That's because their COVID case rate stayed below the threshold for 2 consecutive weeks. Unvaccinated travelers from the states in orange should quarantine and test before and after arrival. One of Chicago's charter schools, which serves kindergartners through 8th graders, has closed for 2 weeks due to a COVID outbreak. Cerro Schools has shut down its Zazumbo campus to all unvaccinated students after a number of positive COVID cases. It's the first school-wide closure in Chicago this year.
And with schools at the center of recent COVID concerns, some parents say they are getting ready to get their young child vaccinated. Pfizer expects to have clinical trial data by the end of October that should reveal how well its vaccine works on children 6 months to 5 years old. The company's CEO says vaccine data for kids between 5 and 11 could be ready to be submitted to the FDA by the end of this month. Dr. Anthony Fauci says for now we need to take other steps to protect them.
The way you protect the vulnerable is to surround them by people who are vaccinated, be they teachers, personnel in the school, students in the school who are old enough to get vaccinated.
Dr. Fauci also says he expects to have a plan for COVID booster shots this month if the data shows it is appropriate and scientifically sound to give them.
And new overnight, California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom will stay in office after prevailing in the state's recall election. Returns released by the California Secretary of State's office show over 72% of voters rejecting the bid to recall Newsom. Republican recall candidate Larry Elder accepted defeat while addressing a crowd of supporters in Orange County last night. He led the field of 46 potential candidates on the recall ballot. Recall supporters criticized Newsom for his handling of this pandemic. He is now the second governor in U.S. history to survive a recall election.
6:06 this morning, and President Joe Biden is back in Washington after a 2-day West Coast trip, which included a campaign stop for California Governor Gavin Newsom. The president landed at Joint Base Andrews around 8:30 last night.
And earlier yesterday, President Biden toured the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Colorado. He took a look at a giant windmill blade outside the lab and got a demonstration of wind turbine technology. The trip comes as the president pushes his agenda to tackle the climate crisis. The president says his Build Back Better plan will modernize infrastructure, strengthen the country's resilience, and create well-paying jobs. Though critics are worried about spending too much on this plan.
Well, today, Illinois will take another step toward fighting climate change. Governor Pritzker is expected to sign a clean energy bill into law. The plan would eliminate carbon emissions in the state by 2050. Some lawmakers have pushed back on the bill, saying utility prices will skyrocket. Others on board say it will cost each person roughly $3 extra per month.
Meanwhile, the city council passed a new ordinance cracking down on wasteful plasticware from Chicago restaurants. The decision prohibits restaurants from handing out single-use plasticware, but they can do so if asked. Drive-through restaurants and airport concessions are exempt here. The ban includes everything from forks and spoons to condiments and even napkins.
Well, Chicago Alderman James Gardiner offered a dramatic public apology at the city council. This comes after sexist texts were made public recently. Alderman Gardiner was also accused of threatening constituents who opposed him.
Today, I do not speak to you as a politician. I speak to you as a human being who has sinned.
Critics in his ward have called on him to resign.
This morning, Mayor Lightfoot's latest plan to fight gang violence is getting some pushback. Earlier this week, the mayor said she wants to sue gang members and take their assets. The Chicago City Council has blocked that idea, critics saying the plan is misguided. The proposed ordinance is now delayed, but will go to the Rules Committee on Friday.
Well, Olympic champion Simone Biles will be one of several gymnasts who will testify before a U.S. Senate panel beginning today. That hearing will explore the FBI's investigation into former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. A recent Justice Department report detailed fundamental errors the FBI made in handling accusations of sexual abuse against Nassar. Along with Biles, Michaela Maroney, Maggie Nichols, and Allie Raceman will appear before the panel. All 4 of the women are among the hundreds of Nassar's victims who were sexually abused by him during what he claimed were routine medical exams.
And listen closely to this one. There's a chance you could see some money coming your way if you've purchased chicken at any point over the past 10 years. A class action lawsuit accused several poultry producers of restricting supply and price fixing. People who bought fresh or frozen raw chicken in Illinois and several other states are eligible for payment if the $181 million settlements are approved. The amount depends on how many people sign on. You can see if you're eligible and file a claim at overchargedforchicken.com.
All right, well, here's another chance at some extra cash. How about $432 million cash? That's how much tonight's Powerball jackpot is worth. The cash option would pay you $313.5 million.
That's a lot of money, and the Mega Millions rolls over to Friday. Right now, it's estimated at $405 million. So here are the numbers. Take a screenshot, if you will. 4, 13, 19, 63, 64, and 16.
All right. Well, the cleanup begins. We will show you the damage Nicholas left behind along the Texas coast and tell you how workers from our area are helping out. And
we'll tell you about the new festival celebrating the return of live performances right at Navy Pier.
Well, you might be celebrating the return of some more comfortable temperatures as we take a look outside this morning. And if you like the heat, you'll be celebrating the warmer temperatures headed back. Alicia will have your forecast when we.
New overnight, Chicago police investigating a pair of carjackings. The first happened around 10 p.m. in Wicker Park. A woman was getting out of her car when a man in a ski mask came up to her and stole her purse and her vehicle. 2 hours later in Belmont Gardens, a man was sitting in his car when 2 armed men got out of an SUV and demanded his belongings. They drove off in his car. Luckily, no one was hurt. And we have new video showing a crime wave that targeted 4 victims in the space of just a few hours. Neighbors on the 2100 block of West Moffett shared home surveillance video of the maroon SUV they believe was involved in an armed carjacking Monday night. Neighbors tell us that a babysitter was finishing a shift here just before 9 p.m. The victim, her friend waiting to take her home. One neighbor explains anonymously what she saw and heard.
She had her windows open and was just, just waiting. 4 men and two of them had guns. I caught the red SUV and there was a little or smaller car right on its tail and they were driving down, fairly quickly down the street. It backed up very quickly. I saw a woman across the street and she would look very frantic and was yelling for help. Asked me to call 911. They, stole her car, stole her purse, stole her phone, really took everything. She didn't even have shoes on. I mean, she had nothing.
Scary situation there. Chicago police believe the group is behind a similar armed carjacking on the 1900 block of Wabansia 45 minutes earlier, and at least 2 more in the 14th district at 8 p.m. and 10:40 p.m.
6:15 this morning. We have an update on R. Kelly's sex trafficking trial as prosecutors want to play profane video and audio recordings in court. They say those recordings will show how the singer threatened his victims with violence. The judge indicated she would let prosecutors use the tapes as evidence. Kelly is accused of sexually exploiting underage girls over a span of decades. He has denied any wrongdoing.
And ComEd crews from Chicago will be in the Houston area today, hoping to restore power as quickly as possible after Tropical Storm Nicholas. This is a live look from the ComEd facility that's on California Avenue, where crews are loading up as we speak. They're loading up their trucks for this mission. Just to recap here, more than 470,000 people were without power in Texas, including Harris County, which, by the way, is one of the most populous counties in the U.S. Winds up to 75 miles an hour knocked over fallen trees and left debris scattered across the streets, as you can see here. ComEd trucks will leave Chicago around 7 o'clock this morning. They are expected to be in Texas for several days.
So much damage there. We wish them safe travels as we now turn to our forecast. Nice and calm around here, Alicia, and cooler.
Yeah, if you look, the last several days, Michelle, going back to Friday, we were in the 80s, even upper 80s. 80 degrees was the high on Friday. Saturday, Sunday, 87. Monday, we started the week off with a temperature of 88. We were at 86 on Tuesday, and then look at today. We're down in the 70s, but 78 is still about 2 degrees above the average. The average for this time of year is right around 76 degrees. So looking at your headlines this morning, we do have mostly clear skies out there right now. Just a few high clouds, as you can see right now this morning, but we will see cool temperatures, and then this afternoon seasonal temperatures will continue. Tonight, another cool night with those numbers back in the 50s to low 60s as we wake up early Thursday morning. Speaking of the 50s, good morning to you over in Wheaton. Your temperature right now at 55, Streeter at 57, Piatone at 58, and Crystal Lake, your temperature right now with clear skies at 56 degrees. So the reason for the cooler temperatures, we had the cold front pass through yesterday. That has now since moved off across the mid-Atlantic states. We still have a few clouds lingering across portions of northwest Indiana, but those clouds have cleared area-wide, so we will see mostly sunny skies throughout the morning and mostly sunny skies even as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures today, we will reach the mid-70s to even low 80s for some locations. Along the lakefront, though, still a little cooler, right around 72 degrees in Waukegan, 72 the high in Gary, 78 at O'Hare, and right around 78 degrees in DuPage. So temperatures seasonal today, but looking ahead to Thursday, we will see another warm up on the way. We're looking at those temperatures to be in the upper 70s, even low 80s. So we're still holding on to this summer-like warmth as we go into Thursday, even into the upcoming weekend. Temperatures right around 82 degrees at O'Hare. And speaking of the weekend, even looking out 6 to 10 days, here's the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. You see this darker shade of red. That's indicating about a 70% probability, likelihood, that we will see above average temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days. You can see a lot of the Midwest and the eastern U.S. under that above average temperature outlook. And even as we head into the next 6 to 10 days on our 10-day forecast, we're showing you that we are going to see those warmer than average temperatures. So imagine temperature 76 degrees. All days will be above that for the next several days. Near 90 degrees expected on Sunday. We'll add more humidity in the forecast for the weekend. Still hot on Monday, 88. And then even on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week with that chance for showers and storms, we are still above average. So all in all, we're looking not too bad in the weather department, still holding on to summer for us, Kai. But how about you in the traffic department this morning?
Well, we're not doing quite as good. A couple of big crashes are slowing you down, especially if you come over from northwest Indiana this morning. There's a crash in the Munster area. Check out this westbound delay as you push on over to the Illinois state line. There's a crash right here around Calumet as you head westbound. It's in 3 of 4 lanes as you make that trip. So you've got delays now back to Burr. When we last checked in, delays started here closer to Klein. So hefty delays. When you see red, average speeds are about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So very slow going there as you come in through Munster. 294 looks okay through Oak Lawn. And then we really started to see this slow spot approaching the Hinsdale Oasis demolition site. There is a semi-crash. It's off to the shoulder right now, but it is causing a delay as you make your way northbound there on the tri-state. Let's take a look outside and check in with the tollway camera. I want to go up north north here, Lake County, I-94 at Rosecrans Road up in Wadsworth. It's nice and clear there on ground level. Want to show you the outbound Kennedy drive time. It's now 35 minutes out to O'Hare with a crash confirmed right there before Harlem. On the inbound side of the Ike, Chris, that's 31 minutes.
All right, thank you, Kai. Something to bring your family to. One of Chicago's most iconic attractions, Navy Pier, is celebrating the return of the city's arts and entertainment industry with a new festival. It's called Chicago Live Again and will showcase performances from Second City, Broadway in Chicago, and the Joffrey Ballet, and so much more.
Chicago Live Again not only heralds the highly anticipated fall arts season, it celebrates the artists on stage and backstage who will finally get back to the work they and we love.
We did get a sneak peek of one of the upcoming acts. Chicago Live Again will be free when it takes place September 24th and the 25th. It's good to see new events still popping up.
Yeah, sure is.
Coming up, baseball is back and every game counts.
We will tell you how the White Sox improved their postseason prospects.
Then we'll show you how a Bears player is making a difference for Chicago kids as they start the new school year. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. This morning, the White Sox magic number stands at 7, meaning any combination of Sox wins and Cleveland losses totaling 7, well, that would clinch the division title. Last night, Lucas Giolito and Tim Anderson both came off the 10-day injured list to face the Angels. In the third, it was Gavin Sheets providing the power. He demolished a pitch for a 3-run home run to right. That was a beauty. Sox go on to win it 9-3.
And the Cubs are in Philadelphia, getting swept by the Giants over the weekend. But that was then, and this is now. Rookie Patrick Wisdom crushes the solo home run to the deepest part of the ballpark to tie the game at 1. That's his 26th of this season. Alfonso Rivas also goes yard for the first home run of his major league career. And the Cubs take the 2-1 lead. They go on to beat the Phillies, who are fighting for a wild card spot. Cubs win 6-3. They play the Phillies again tonight at 6:05.
And now to making a difference, a special back-to-school celebration on the South Side that the kids will never forget. Bears defensive end Akeem Hicks hosting this event. The 6'4", 335-pound lineman had a special gift for the kids, too. He handed out new gym shoes for the new school year. Hicks says he gets just as much joy here as he does on Sundays. The best part, he says, these kids don't care what the record is.
Don't you love that?
Yeah, really nice.
Great. Yeah. All right, next at 6:30, we are following breaking news this morning.
That's right. In the last hour, we have learned who will become the next CEO of Chicago Public Schools. Lisa Chavarria is joining us live with the inside scoop ahead of the mayor's official announcement.
And here's a look outside. Alicia and Kai have a look at the weather and roads before you head out the door. That's all coming up next at 6:30.